The war might be over, but this is just the beginning after the end. You guys see what I did there? The war is over, Agrona's gone, but peace, that's still up for debate. Chapter 526 of The Beginning After the End throws us into chaos after the final battle, where former enemies are forced to sit in the same room and decide the future of the entire world. The chapter opens up from Caera the Noir's perspective. She gazes up at the monolithic structure known as the Relictombs Spire, a surreal tower that emerged after Arthur's climactic battle. The surrounding basilisk fan mountain have been flattened, now encircling the spire like an ancient ring of guardians. The sheer scale and otherworldling of this new creation evoke awe and unease. It represents the fundamental change, not just geography but power. The Spire isn't just symbolic, it's functional. Epheotus, the Asuran realm, has been merged into their reality, reshaping the Relictombs and their world. It's a future nobody fully understands yet. Caera walks with her friend Meleys Tremblay, matron of House Tremblay. Their dynamic is lighthearted but hides the tension of the times. They exchange sarcastic remarks about gods, curses, and Arthur's new divinity, all while preparing for a landmark political summit. Meleys jokes that people may soon be invoking Arthur's golden locks instead of the Vitra fangs, but there's a sobering truth underneath. Arthur has become something more than mortal, possibly more than even the Asura. As they approach the Spire, it's clear that the infrastructure of the old world is still being sorted. There are refugees, soldiers, and the Ascenders, but no functioning businesses or normalcy yet. It's half-formed society being held together by goodwill and hope. Inside the Relictombs, old buildings from the previous Ascension levels are repurposed. The ruins of what was once a deadly dungeon are now the bone of a political capital. Caera and Meleys are let in as self-pulling buggy past familiar landmarks, guarded by Ceres' soldiers. Meleys quips about Tempest warps being down, and Caera wonders silently if Ceres even knows why. They arrive at a courthouse, a structure that eerily resembles the one used back in the Relictombs' second level. It's there that the true meeting of the world representation is about to begin. Among the first dignitaries they encounter is Caden Aphelion, former teacher and rebel sympathizer. Caera greets him warmly, as does Meleys, who supports him up the stairs due to his injury. They joke, but all of them know the gravity of the summit they're walking into. Inside the amphitheater-style courtroom, they use a full cast of this unprecedented diplomatic gatherings. Dicathens, Virion and Tessia Erlith, Curtis and Cathon Glader, Micah Earthborn, Vere, Are, Dwarven Nobles, Carnelian Earthborn, and Dorgar Silvershell. Alacrya have Caera, Meleys, Caden, Alaric, Mir, Matron, Amelie, Bellerose, Uriel Frost, High Justice, Seraphina, Desmares, and Harlow Edivane. Asuras of Epheotus have the High Lords and their heirs, excluding the dragons. Also present, Mordain Asclepius, the outcast phoenix who now sits alone until Tessia chooses to sit beside him to show public support. As the meeting prepares to start, subtle emotional beats surface. Virion is aging but strong. Caera and Tessia share a mutual curiosity about Arthur. Tessia is clearly still processing the trauma, and her cryptic answers hint that Arthur's fragile condition is bad. Caera's guilt about Enola's death resurfaces when she speaks with Uriel Frost, who coldly acknowledges her apology. Caera is also worried by the closeness between Tessia and Mordain. Politically, this alliance could shift balances of power between Dicathens and the rebel Phoenix clan. Ceres enters the courtroom, leading the High Lords and heirs of Epheotus. Their entrance is nothing short of divine theater. Bright robes, alien grace, and power that warps the very air around them. Notably absent are the dragons. Caera notices some asuras give Mordain the cold shoulder, while others, like Novus of Ignis, greet him diplomatically. Nephel Aaron, a Florian asura, questions Mordain's presence. Tessia defends him eloquently, citing his protection of Dicathen and asserting his right to be considered a Dicathian representative. Novus offers a tense but peaceful acknowledgement of Mordain's clan, suggesting a meeting after the summit. Caera takes note the Phoenix's growing bond with Dicathen is politically significant and potentially dangerous for Alacrya. The political discourse begins with Amelie Bellerose calling for guarantees that the Vitra are finished and that Alacryans won't face reprisal for Agrona's actions. Raycothan, the Basilisk High Lord, argues otherwise, believing Alacryans are still tainted by Vitra blood. Caera bravely stands and delivers an emotional, devastating speech. She recounts the story of Circa, an Alacryan girl conscripted as a sentry to save her sick brother. Her success inadvertently leads to the Eleanor massacre, a brutal reminder that many Alacryans were victims too of their own system. Saria Triscan, an elf, adds that while Agrona's retainers were responsible for her cousin's death, it was an asura who destroyed Eleanor. This leads to Ademir Thaistis, a six-eyed asura, booming out in defense of the asuran soldier responsible, arguing he too was following orders. Virion steps up next, stealing all of the show with powerful, unifying speech. He speaks not as an elf but as a statesman tired of cycles of revenge. He points out that all factions have blood on their hands, humans, dwarves, elves, and asuran alike, insisting on retribution guarantees endless war. Arthur didn't rebuild the ward for them to turn on each other again. So Virion's presence and wisdom calms the room. The use of Arthur's name again quiets even the loudest voices. Asuras like Varia, a Dragonair, and Zelenia, a Leviathanair, express sympathy but stop short of accepting full blame for Kez's crimes. They didn't know about his actions, having been kept in the dark by their elders. Dorgar Silvershale, the gruff dwarf, doesn't buy it. He argues that everyone should be held responsible for who they follow. The courtroom begins to stir again. Then comes Morwina Mapilia, another asura who defends Kezes, reminding everyone he protected both realms for millennia. She voices the fear that many share. Without Kezes, what threats now face them? Tensions rise, Caden and Stoya mock Kez's legacy, and it all boils over. Radix Grandis, the massive titan, tries to silence everyone with sheer force, literally growing larger and unleashing oppressive mana, but just as he was about to roar, the air shifts and someone cuts through the tension without saying a word. Arthur appears. Dressed humbly but glowing with golden eyes and hair, he emerges from the shadows. His mere presence brings the entire room to a halt. Reactions vary. The young Asuran heir smile at him, the older Asurans nod respectfully, Alacryans and Dicathenians are mixed, some in awe, others visibly uncomfortable. Tessia's eyes fill with tear, her relief is undeniable. Arthur says little but enough. He's been retrieving the last survivors, including his mother and sister, from Myers' pocket dimension, but he refuses to take up the mantle of leader or god. The world, he says, has outgrown kings. The future must be shaped collectively. Arthur's final words echo like law: you have to chart the path for your people together. Caera seizes the moment and proposes a new system of governance, one where all voices, towns, cities, dominions, are all equally represented, ensuring no people group are left behind. Arthur gives her an approving smile, then completely vanishes as quietly as he came. This chapter marks the start of something new and something dangerous. For the first time in history, leaders from Dicathen, Alacrya, and Epheotus are all sitting together at the same table, not to fight, but to figure out how to coexist. Some want justice, others peace, but almost everyone carries scars, grudges, and blood on their hands. And then Arthur appears, calm, composed, and clearly broken. He's done the impossible. He fused two worlds, saved countless lives, and shattered the old system of power. He could rule, but he won't. Instead, he tells them straight, this world is too big for kings, work together or watch it all burn again. And just like that, he disappears. So now it's not about who's the strongest anymore, it's about who's willing to change. Can enemies become allies? Can empires give up control? Can peace actually be built without Arthur holding the world together? That's the real challenge now